Dating these days feels like a minefield, with new rules and expectations popping up at every turn. While some people thrive in this environment, it can be a source of irritation and disappointment for Sigma males. It's often more trouble than it's worth. These independent guys are taking a hard pass on the swipe-right culture and endless social media game. It's not that they don't want connections. They just find the whole modern dating scene exhausting and fake. While many people might not understand their perspective, here are 5 reasons Sigma males avoid modern dating. Number 1. Disposable swipe culture mentality. Swiping left, swiping right. Modern dating apps have turned finding a partner into a game. These apps make it seem like people are just items to be picked up or tossed aside. This swipe culture is a big reason why most Sigma men don't mess with modern dating. They hate the idea of treating women like they're just a bio and a few pictures to evaluate in seconds. In the old days, you'd actually have to talk to a woman to get to know her. You'd meet through friends, at a party, or even at work. You'd have real conversations instead of deciding yes or no with a single swipe. Sigma men prefer this old-school way that gives connections a chance to grow naturally. Now, modern dating is like shopping online, just another thing to consume mindlessly. It feels shallow and fake to them. When you're swiping through profiles, it's easy to forget there's a person on the other side. Everything becomes about looks and first impressions. If you don't hit it off right away, you just move to the next person in your queue. This mentality makes relationships feel temporary and not worth investing in. Real deep connections take time and effort, neither of which the swipe culture values. Plus, there's the fear of missing out. With endless options right at your fingertips, people keep thinking the next swipe might just reveal someone even better. This keeps everyone in a state of constant searching, never satisfied with what they have because they think there might be something better just a swipe away. Dating apps also make ghosting way too easy. If things get awkward or tricky, one person can just vanish. No explanation needed. This lack of accountability is frustrating and a big turnoff for Sigma males. They value honest communication, and the swipe culture doesn't encourage that at all. This endless swiping turns dating into a quest for perfection that doesn't exist. It moves the focus away from what really matters: genuine human connections. Real life, face-to-face meetings allow for true understanding and appreciation, something swipe culture will never replace. That's why Sigma men just avoid this disposable mindset altogether. Number 2. Overwhelming social media expectations. Social media has become an unavoidable part of the game. For many, it's a way to showcase their life, interests, and relationship status. But this constant pressure to perform online is a major turnoff for Sigma males. Let's say you've just started dating someone. Suddenly, there's an unspoken expectation to update your relationship status, post couple selfies, and like every single thing your partner shares. While some people might enjoy this level of online exposure, Sigma men feel suffocated by it. It's like putting on a show for an audience he never asked for. These guys really care about their privacy and authenticity. They don't feel the need to share their personal life with everyone. Trying to create a perfect online image of their relationship feels fake and exhausting. They prefer to build a real connection with their partner in person, away from the prying eyes of social media followers. The constant comparison game that social media encourages is something Sigma men actively avoid. Seeing perfectly staged photos of other couples' date nights or exotic vacations doesn't motivate them. It just reinforces their belief that much of what's shared online is an illusion. This pressure to constantly document and share their dating life takes away from the actual experience of being in a relationship. They prefer to live in the moment, enjoying their partner's company without worrying about capturing the perfect Instagram-worthy shot. This clash between the Sigma's desire for privacy and the social media-driven nature of modern dating often leads them to step back from the whole scene. They'd rather wait for a connection that values real-world interactions over online appearances, even if it means staying single for longer. This doesn't mean that Sigma males don't use social media at all, but they're fed up with the expectations and pressures that come with it in the modern dating world. Number 3. The idea of playing games. Playing games seems to be a big part of modern dating, and many people have no problem with it. They see it as a fun way to flirt and gauge the other person's interest. While most Sigma men might be good at these games, most of them simply don't want to play. Of course, being a bit mysterious and teasing someone you're attracted to can be exciting, but they don't want this to be the foundation of their relationship. It feels fake for them. Why pretend not to care when you actually do? Why wait 3 days before texting after a great date? Why act like you're busy all the time instead of simply making plans if you want to see someone? These mind games create unnecessary stress and misunderstandings. It's exhausting and confusing. What's the point of all these games? It feels like a waste of time and energy. They're all about keeping it real and simple. Just be yourself and say what you mean. They think relationships should be built on honesty and trust, not tricks and mind games. Imagine meeting someone who really clicks with you. Then, instead of being open and honest, you have to follow these weird rules that tell you not to show too much interest. How does that even make sense? It's tiring and unnatural. Instead of getting to know someone and seeing if there's a real connection, it becomes a confusing mess of what's the right move. Some people say the games keep dating exciting, but it's just frustrating. One week you're getting lots of texts and attention, and the next week, nothing. They'd rather have a stable connection than a roller coaster of mixed signals. These games also make it hard to build meaningful relationships. You're always second-guessing intentions instead of really getting to know each other. It makes dating feel like a chess match. Sigma men are not interested in outsmarting anyone. They just want simple, honest interactions. Modern dating forces everyone to wear masks and play roles. But these guys want a partner to see the real them, not just an act. They value authenticity and real feelings. Playing games means pretending to be someone else or hiding your true self, which is the opposite of what they look for in a relationship. So to avoid these mind games, Sigma men step back from this modern dating trend. While they may still use apps or go on dates, they don't bother with playing games. Number 4. Inauthentic online personas. Many people create online dating profiles that show a version of themselves that's too good to be true. They might post photos that are heavily edited or from years ago. They write bios that make their lives sound perfect, even when they're not. It's like everyone's trying to be a superstar online, and it's hard to know who's real and who's not. While Sigma men might also have online profiles, they don't put much stock in them. These profiles only show a small snippet of someone's life, and not the whole picture. They also don't want to get caught up in this constant comparison game of who has the perfect profile. That's why Sigma men prefer to get to know someone in person. When everyone's busy putting up a front, how do you know who you're really getting to know? It makes the whole dating scene feel fake. You think you're talking to one person, but when you meet for a date, they're completely different. It's disappointing and makes trust tricky. It's not just photos either. People might say they love hiking and reading when they've never set foot on a trail or opened a book. They might pretend they have the same interests as you just to get a date. This makes dating feel like a game, where people are acting out parts instead of showing their true selves. Some folks even hide big things about themselves. Maybe they're not honest about their job, their age, or whether they're looking for a serious relationship. When things start to get real, all these lies come out, and it can wreck everything. It's stressful to constantly wonder if someone's being straight with you. Imagine going on a date and realizing the person across the table isn't anything like their online profile. They look different, act different, and you feel like you've been tricked. That's a big letdown and makes you feel like you wasted your time. It's much harder to build a real connection When you start out feeling deceived, some people might not even mean to be fake. They just want to make a good impression and end up stretching the truth. But even small lies add up, and they can ruin things before they even start. Being honest from the get-go should be simple, but with all these picture-perfect profiles, it's like everyone feels they have to compete to stand out. That's why many Sigma men step back from modern dating and its obsession with online personas. Number 5. Discomfort with the expectation of instant chemistry. When people date today, there's this big push for instant chemistry. You're supposed to know right away if someone is a good match, almost like magic. If sparks don't fly on the first date, or even the first few minutes of chatting online, then it's on to the next person. It feels like there's no room for getting to know someone slowly. While this might work for some people, Sigma men aren't interested in this pressure. They do believe in chemistry, but not the kind that happens in an instant. Think about meeting a new friend. You don't instantly become best friends. It takes hanging out and sharing things about yourselves. Dating should be the same way. But with this instant chemistry expectation, it feels like you're speed running a relationship. It's hard to relax and be yourself when you feel pressured to impress right away. On top of that, nerves and stress often get in the way. Maybe you're not feeling your best, or just had a long day, and suddenly you have to perform on this first date like it's an audition. When people expect fireworks from the start, it puts even more pressure on you. It makes dating feel like a job interview rather than a fun way to connect with someone. What if someone has a great personality, but you don't see it right away because everyone is so focused on that initial spark? Real chemistry can develop over time, from shared interests, inside jokes, and learning about each other's quirks. The best connections often come from giving it time and not rushing to judge. In a world chasing fast results and instant gratification, slowing down feels weird. But for Sigma men, it just feels natural. They don't want to rush into anything or force feelings that aren't there. Dating should be fun and enjoyable, not a race against the clock to find instant chemistry.